Welcome to episode 22 of CRASHTON Talks. Thanks very much for coming back and stuff. Apologies, it's been a little while. I kind of had to take a wee break from doing this because it's became a bit of a bollock, to be honest. There's just like so many fucking podcasts in the world right now, and I don't know, like like it's easy enough to get guests. It's easy enough to get guests that I'm interested in, and that's not really an issue. It's just that I kind of went through a phase, well, not a phase, but like I think most people right now that are maybe aren't working, that are just experiencing how fucking tough this whole COVID thing's been, are gravitating towards like podcasts and stuff like that. And definitely the past 3 or 4 years of my life anyway, I've kind of invested a lot of time in like Joe Rogan and a lot of other podcasts that I listen to. And I don't know, just like, I'm a musician, do you know what I mean? And when I get in, like, because I'm quite a creative person, when I get into something, I'm like, I could fucking do that. So like the podcast thing started to take over quite a lot of my life and my time, and sort of like putting money into something that's not giving me a lot back. So I just had to take a break from it and think, right, well, what do I want from this? Do you know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of kind of personal things that I like about the podcast, like the social aspect of it. When you've got a family and stuff, and like when I was doing music, when I was actually able to play music live, it was just good being able to like chat to people that I wouldn't usually get to talk to. So that's been a positive thing from it. So I think like moving forward, I'm going to try and look at it like that. Like this is going to be kind of for me, rather than trying to chase the most interesting and best guests that I can get for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The podcasts that I like are always these informative things, and I always think, oh well, that means I've got to be an intellectual and talk to people intellectually, and I just like kind of fucking goofing about and being silly and stuff as well. So I think I've overthought the podcast, and as much as I've enjoyed talking to the guests that I've had on the past little while, I've kind of felt it's became this like obligatory. Is that the right word? Like, is that a word? Like, I feel obliged in some sort of way. Like it's fucking 60 minutes or something. Like when I've got them there, I'm like, so when you were in 1933, could you smell your own fecal matter? Like they go, Chris, I wasn't even alive in 1933, and I go, yes, I know, but what do you think it was like to smell your own fecal matter in 1933? And they go, see, to be honest, this is the worst podcast I've ever fucking been on. So yeah, sipping the coffee. I've actually already filmed this episode, but what happened was that I didn't have the volume on the mic on, so I filmed like 25 minutes of me doing this, and I thought that'd be quite a funny podcast to put out, but I'll go with the audio one. As always, I've got a wee list of topics here that I'm going to chat about. So like, all of that stuff has got me thinking, should I reformat the podcast? Should it just be an interview thing, or should it be like entertainment, or should it be, what can I do with it? What can I do with it that I'm going to have fun with and is going to be enjoyable for people to watch? So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. And if you listen to the podcast, like if you consistently listen to it, then please like let me know if there's something that you particularly like or something that you particularly don't like about the podcast. Then I would genuinely like to know, because I like because I'm contradicting what I just said. Like, because I'm going to do it for me and the things that I like, but like, tell me what you like so that I can fucking pander and cater to you, because I need validation, and I need my ego to be polished. is what I need. You know what I mean? But in some way, I suppose that is sort of true. Is that I do like doing this for myself, and I want to do it for myself. But there are people that I know watch it and listen to it and enjoy it. So that's kind of hard because I feel like I need to. I don't know. I don't want you guys to be pure disengaged as well. You know what I mean? I want to make sure it's interesting. Who knows? I want it to be enjoyable. I just like fucking sitting here, right? I just like, for whatever reason, I like sitting, just fucking talking to myself. Even when I'm in social situations, right? Like I can be around Katie's family, and everybody's talking, or everybody's like having this big discussion, and even though my brain wants to, like, I don't know if you feel it, I always feel like I'm on the right side of everything, right? Even if it's something that I'm pure misinformed with, I'm like, I know the answer to this fucking debate that you're all having, and then I get lost in my own head and I start talking to myself. Like as if like, say we're talking about fucking like 9/11, you know what I mean, or like sort of fucking COVID, you know what I mean, like the current news and everything that's going on with COVID in our local area, and they're all having a debate, and my brain does what I should do verbally in here. So I'm having the conversation with them, but I'm in my head and I'm winning. Do you know what I mean? I'm my brain's pretending that they're answering me, and I'm having that back and forth. So it's weird. So this is like that. I think I actually like doing this more than I like talking to guests, because I'm constantly fucking winning with it, innit? Like I'm like reaffirming my own bullshit, which is good, especially fucking today. I mean, one of the things I spoke about in the version of this episode that didn't have audio is like I get so frustrated with everything that's going on because every time I go on Facebook, everybody's arguing, right? Even the people that like will say, "Fucking hell, everyone always argues on this," or "Have you seen this fucking thing?" They're arguing with people about the fact that they're arguing, right? And something that I don't get is like, who's so fucking informed, especially like with everything that's going on with coronavirus, right? Who's so informed that they're the guy that fucking knows? Because I've seen some really convincing fucking conspiracy theories, and obviously like sort of my rational, the rational human that lives inside my brain gravitates towards everything that we're being told. So when I go into a fucking shop, I wear a mask, or like I fucking keep my distance from people when someone's walking towards me. But part of it is sort of like I don't even know if I'm doing it because I believe that that's what I'm supposed to do, or it's a kind of courtesy thing. Do you know what I mean? I think the courtesy thing is actually more important because if it happens to be true, or if that person would rather that I done that, then I'll do it. You know what I mean? But like, because believing in something is sort of like nobody knows what they actually believe. That's something that I've always thought. Like that's kind of my thing about religion. Like the only reason that someone sort of believes in a religion or believes in a god, I think, is because they don't understand the concept of what belief is. Like belief to me is that you've gathered enough evidence, that you've gathered enough information to conclude some sort of like final result. That's what believing in something actually fucking is. And I haven't done that. Fucking the rest of the fucking world hasn't done that. Fucking scientists that are studying what's going on right now haven't fucking done that. You know what I mean? Like everybody's still figuring this fucking shit out. So that's why I'm saying whether or not I believe that wearing a mask is the right thing to do, I think it's courteous. That's the fucking thing. Because on the off chance that someone fucking coughs and their spit flies into my mouth, I don't want to bring that home and potentially kill folk. So I think that makes sense. So even if it's not fucking true, it makes sense that you would do that just in case. However, right, as a musician, right, a lot of people are back to work now. I'd say about 90% of fucking people who are out of work are back working. But the fucking entertainment and music industry isn't. So I'm in my head a lot of the time. And I don't think that coronavirus isn't real, right? What I think is that there's a lot of restrictions in society right now. And it's hard for me not to feel because my lifestyle and my career is restricted. It's hard not to feel like my rights have been taken away. Right? So like most rational people would say, well, that's for the greater good. That's what utilitarianism is. Like, you sacrifice X, Y, and Z so that the greater good can survive. And I get that. I genuinely do get that. I just fucking feel restricted, and like it just feels like a film. You know what I mean? If any of us were to have looked at anything that's going on right now, you would think, oh well, that the government are clearly fucking doing this so that you're restricted from doing all of these fucking things. Like, whether or not I believe that, right? I don't know if I believe that. I think we'll be put to rest if society goes back to the way it was, to some degree. As in, like, we're able to go out to gigs, we're able to fucking cuddle people, you know what I mean? Like, not just fucking random people. Well, maybe random people, you know what I mean? Maybe, like, if we're allowed to fucking cuddle again, everyone will just fucking cuddle, you know what I mean? Which, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, so that's my fucking professional opinion on coronavirus. Like, you need another fucking opinion. I'm bringing out a new single soon. On the 12th of October, I'm bringing out a song that is separate from the album that I'm recording. And it's called Me and Jamie. And it's sort of in memory of my friend Jamie, who on the 12th of October, it'll have been a year since he died. And it's weird because I didn't want to, when it happened, I didn't want to write a song. Well, I did and I didn't. I felt like I should be writing a song because throughout my whole life, like, I've been writing and playing music since I was 12. I'm 31 now, so I'm 31. So my like natural instinct when shit goes wrong is to just write. Like, it's how I fucking deal with things. And when it happened, like, and to make you understand, like, most people, like, when they hear that someone's lost someone, they'll be like, alright, they kind of like try and relate it to something that they understand. Like, I knew Jamie from the age, like, we met when we were 8 in primary school, and we grew up together. We genuinely lived like brothers. There was periods of time where Jamie would stay at mine for weeks and months, and we would go back and forth to each other's houses, and our family treated each other like family. And so when it happened, like, I felt like I should write about this, and for some, well, the reason I didn't is because I just felt like, well, it had take something to take a person that meant so much to me and just like conclude them to only be as much as a song just felt like it's hard to even explain what I mean. Like, I just felt like my relationship with him and his life meant more than a song. And even in writing this track that I've written, like I don't feel like it says what it needs to say, but it still doesn't convey what I feel. You know what I mean? I feel like there's enough reflection in it for like someone to listen and go, well, there's a story of a guy who lost a friend. So yeah, I won't say much more on it. But hopefully you like the song and enjoy the song, and maybe you can listen to it and relate it to something that you've been through. Yeah, it's another thing that I find so surreal. I think about everything that's going on. Like I lost my gran as well a couple of years ago, and like I think I used to think about her life, or not just her life, but like your grandparents. Like when you're younger, when you're in your teens and stuff, you think, or I used to think that I'm living in the greatest time, like of innovation and technology and all of that stuff. And I was like, the shit that I'm going to see, like there's no other period in history where I would like to have been alive. Like my lifetime, I'm so glad that I'm going to get to experience video games and fucking like basically everything that's happened. Like looking at things like Back to the Future, I thought, well, we'll get to see all of that shit, flying cars and all that, and that's probably true. So I used to think, oh, there's no other time I'd rather be alive. Then I look at my gran and I think, well, she lived for 78 years. Right? She was born in 1940, so she experienced a bit of the Second World War and everything that came after it. And not that she didn't work hard, like she's a woman of her time, and she went through a lot. She had raised two kids with her mum, basically. And I think now when I think about her life, because we are going through all of this, like I kind of think that she lived a really good and lucky life to some degree. Like she had a good life. You know what I mean? Like she lived in this sweet spot between 1940 and fucking 2020, and probably like the prime of her life from when she was in her teens to when she died. Like she just lived in this sweet spot in history and got to witness some of the fucking innovation and technology. And I'm so glad that like she didn't have to go through this. You know, I mean, it was already hard. Like, you know what it's like if you've got a grandparent and you beat yourself up about not going over to see them or whatever. Because I didn't get to see her a lot, like at the end of her life, and I don't know. It's just hard to imagine that like we couldn't have gone to see her as well. And I know that there'll be a lot of people actually going through that. Like if you've got a grandparent that maybe not right now, but like during lockdown that you couldn't just go and visit because of everything that was going on. But yeah, it just got me thinking about all of that stuff. It's weird that like people that die, you know what I mean, or have died before all of this, that they're just, you know what I mean. It's weird that they couldn't have known. Like if you told them, like you're going to pass away, and then like fucking a couple of years later, the world's going to go into this global pandemic. Like we've entered like a new era. I mean, like there's no going back in it in some way. Like we might get our rights back and stuff, but we'll have lived through this profound time. Like 9/11. Like there's before 9/11, and then there's after 9/11. Do you know what I mean? Like it's weird if you watch like a film from like 2000 and think that the actors in that film didn't know about 9/11 yet. Do you ever think about that, or is that just fucking me? I don't know. And one of the other things I wanted to talk about is if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you'll have seen that I got a guitar back that I lost like 8 years ago. And it's a weird story. So when I was in Fluorescent Hearts, we were on a Scottish tour. So like 2012, we were doing this Scottish tour, and we'd got a van. So we were like with an independent record label, like, and manager, and we had this van, and we had all our shit in the van, and it was parked outside someone that was involved with the band's house. And so this was like halfway through the tour, and because the way that we worked it was, it looked like we had like a lot of dates, which we did. So it was like eight dates or something on the tour, but we spaced them out over weeks. So it was like maybe 2 months or something that this tour took place in, because I think we'd done like 2 gigs a week or something for like 8 weeks, 4 weeks or something like that. That's like pointless information. It doesn't make any difference to the story. But we're like halfway through, so the van was parked outside this person's house, and the person went into the back. Somebody went into the back of the van and took 2 of my guitars. So I used to have when I was about 17 or 18, I saved up and bought this guitar that was an Italia Manarello, I think it's called, Speedster 1. And the reason I liked it is because it really looked like Tom DeLonge's Gibson, like the one that he used during the self-titled album or untitled album. And it's like, it's got one pickup and a volume pot, and it's got racing stripes down it. And I fucking loved it. I saved up. Basically what I done was I went into Merchant City Music in Glasgow, and they let me pay it up. So I would go in like once a month, pay £50, and like I think I was like halfway through paying it up, and the guys were like, just fucking take the guitar home and still just pay it up. So I done that, and it was only like £250. So eventually I paid the guitar off and I had it home with me. So I had that guitar for like maybe 3 or 4 years before I was in Fluorescent Hearts, or before the guitar got stolen. And then when I was in Fluorescent Hearts, because we're involved with this record label, I was gifted 2 other Italia guitars. And one, they were the same model of guitar, but one was blue with a kind of sparkle effect through it with the racing stripes, and the other one was red with the racing stripes. And I played the red and blue one in 2 different music videos. And then when we were on this fucking tour, someone went into the back of the van and stole the white one and the red one, because I think we'd given away the blue one in some fucking competition, because we thought, oh, we're going to be fucking massive, so we'll just do a fucking competition and give a guitar away, even though we were fucking signing on at the time. So yeah, I ended up losing those 2 guitars, and it's frustrating because I found a picture, and I'll put it up just now. I found a picture from like the last night that I played the white guitar, and it's so weird because like about a month or 2 ago, like since they went missing, I've always went on like Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace and just looked to see if the guitars appear. And just this one day, like maybe a month or 2 ago, I was on Facebook Marketplace searching, and just decided I'll type in Italia Speedster 1, and up came the fucking red guitar and the white one. And they're quite rare guitars now, like you never see them going on sale in the UK. In fact, see if you go on Google and type in Italia Speedster 1, you'll see a red Italia Speedster 1 that went for sale in Glasgow, and between all of this happening, I got a hold of another red one. So not the one that got stolen out the van, but the same model, but like just a different guitar, and just not that one. And I bought it off one of my friends. So if you go on Google right now, I sold that guitar to someone who then obviously sold it to someone else. But if you go on Google, right, and search, you'll see on Gumtree that there's that guitar. So like on the first page, that guitar's for sale on Gumtree. So like it's really rare that you fucking see these guitars. So yeah, I'm on Facebook Marketplace, and the red guitar and the fucking white one pop up down like in England, like miles apart. I searched on like Google Maps to see how far away they were from each other. It's like maybe like half an hour, 45 minutes. So that's fucking weird that like guitars that you never see have went up for sale at the same time. The red one, so I inquired about the white one and the red one. The red one ended up selling, which I wasn't that bothered about because the red one was gifted to me. And then the white one, which I was really wanting, the guy was in Nottingham, and he was like, "Yeah, it's for sale." And the other thing about it is that these guitars, like, they seem to have dropped in price since, right? But originally I bought the guitar for £250, and then for like between maybe 2015 and the start of this year, those guitars were selling like second hand for about £400 or £500, and it's still sort of like that. I think the cheapest I've seen second hand has been about 300 and something. So the two guitars that went up, which was the red one and the white one, were going for 180 and £200, which is weird because that kind of seems like people that don't know what the guitars are worth. So that was one of the things that made me think, oh, that might be the two guitars that got stolen. So I'm fucking skinting now because of everything that's going on, and the guitar's in fucking Nottingham. I was like, how the fuck am I going to get a hold of that guitar? So I messaged Martin, who was the second guitarist in Fluorescent Hearts, sent him a message and was just like, look at what I've just found. Sent him the white guitar. And I was like, I don't suppose you know anyone in Nottingham? And he messaged me back, and he was like, no joke, I'm going down to Nottingham for like a work training thing in a couple of weeks. I was like, fuck. And that, because I was kind of thinking, well, there's no way I'm going to get this guitar. It's in fucking Nottingham, and I don't have any money. So when he told me he was going down, I was like, I need to figure out some way that I can fucking buy this guitar. So I put up my Fender Strat. I put that up on Facebook for sale, and I put up my acoustic for sale because I was like, I just want this fucking guitar back. So they went up for sale, and then my dad messaged me and was like, right, you're obviously fucking struggling. What's going on? Why are you selling your guitars? And I was like, well, one, I'm fucking struggling, right? But two, also, what it is that fucking just seen that this guitar's went up, and I told him the story, and he was like, right, look, I'll buy the fucking guitar if you can get it. I'll get the guitar. Don't fucking sell your other ones. Just get the guitar. So my dad gave me the money, transferred it to Martin, and he went down and got the fucking guitar and brought it back up. So I have back my Italia Speedster 1 guitar that I think might be the same one. So I put up on Facebook and Instagram that I was reunited with the guitar. I don't know for certain if it is the same guitar. There's nothing distinct that I can really remember, other than like a bit of fret buzz on fret 9, which there is on this guitar, but that could just be totally coincidental. And that's easily fixed anyway. It could have been fixed since the guitars went missing. There's one thing that is on the guitar that wasn't on my original guitar, which was like a damage to the paintwork on the front. that I've not like put up on Facebook or anything, just because I want to get it covered and stuff. But again, that could have happened in the period of time that the guitar's been missing. So I'm just going to say that the guitar is the same guitar because it makes me feel better. It's a nice wee story that I got my guitar back. So yeah, I'm happy about that. And I'll put up a picture of the guitar when I lost it and the one I've got now. So yeah. So I'm gonna wrap things up just now. I've quite enjoyed this, having a wee chat. Do you like my sweatshirt? After high school, I stopped wearing black sweatshirts and black jumpers and stuff because it was like, it just reminds me of high school. Do you know what I mean? That feeling of like having to wear that fucking jumper every day. But I'm actually digging it. I'm digging it. Yeah. So thanks for fucking keeping up. Before I go, actually, a wee shout out to Colin McLeod and Nicholas McLeod, who are the patrons on my Patreon account. Now that everyone's back working, you can sign up to my Patreon if you can be arsed. I think it's worth it. I've made a wee tier system now, so you can, if you sign up to my Patreon, you'll get access to the CRASHTON back catalogue, early access to new music with downloadable links upon release. So if you're a current Patreon member, then you'll have access to the song that I was talking about, Me and Jamie. And when the album comes out, well, before the album comes out, you'll have early access to it with downloadable links. You'll have your name added to the description of the CRASHTON Talks podcast on audio and video platforms. You get an actual shout out on CRASHTON Talks, like I just done for Colin and Nicholas. And access to previously unreleased music, which I'm currently collating. So there's a bunch of stuff that I recorded when I was sort of doing the Chris Ashton solo thing, and then when I eventually settled on CRASHTON, there's like some music that I wrote in that period of time that I still play live that I've never put out. So I'm just piecing all that stuff together. So hopefully when the album drops, if you're a Patreon member, you'll get the album plus all the back catalogue stuff. So you're basically going to get like two albums. Access to previously unreleased music and behind the lyrics blogs. So when this single drops, the Me and Jamie thing, I'll put up a little bit of a bit more in-depth description of what the song's about and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that'll be more beneficial when the album comes out, I suppose, because it's weird, like, sort of this the kind of shite thing about being an independent artist, or like not having a bigger platform to put music out, because like if you take like all the artists that are sort of like just chipping away and making music, there's a lot of guys out there that are really good fucking lyricists that don't talk about the lyrics because they're doing the thing of like just competing, try to put their music out and fucking figuring out how they can get on Spotify playlists and just try to keep up with, like, I can't remember who fucking said this recently, but music has just became like content. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to record a song so that I have something to put up online and keep people interested. I think it was fucking Gary. Gary might have said it to me recently. He's like music's just an additional fucking thing these days. Which is shite, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people putting out great fucking songs with great lyrics and nobody really fucking thinks about them. They'll just listen to this like a pure passive thing, music now. It's like this, if you've got a single out, it's only a big thing for like one day and then it's just fucking gone. So my idea with the Patreon thing is to put up a behind the lyrics thing, because I do put a lot of time into writing, and I think it's cool. I think like it's interesting. I think like I get interested in other people's lyrics. You know what I mean? Even like fucking Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift's a really good lyricist, and when I hear her talking about her lyrics, I'm like, I want to fucking. I wish I had a platform that I could just talk about the lyrics. You know what I mean? So maybe I'll make that public at some point, but it'll be exclusively for the Patreon. If you want to sign up and find out what the songs are about. But yeah, I'll let you go and not fucking deal with me and your ear holes any longer than you need to. But yeah, thanks for listening, and stay safe, and